All right, everybody, we are live now. This is Chris with Drop Dice. So we are going to be playing a Fantasy Age game today. Let's go down the row and talk to our players real quick here. We'll start with Chepe.
Catch me right as a meeting.
That's the plan.
Chepe, I am playing a character. That is a given. His name is Haugar Pilvis, and he is a merchant hunter.
Perfect.
That's it. I have a channel. It's irrelevant.
All right. Next, we'll go over to Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy here. I'm playing Rolf. He has no other names. And I don't have a channel, but enjoy otherwise.
All right, and Matt.
I'm Matt, and I'm going to be playing Isle, and she is an old vulva, a mage, and specializing in Galder and protecting the Seether. Yeah, and I don't have a channel either, but happy to play.
Perfect. All right, so to give a little background for this game for anybody who's watching, this is going to be a Fantasy Age game that is set in a runic type, or not a runic, a Viking type setting where Ragnarök has started. The sun and the moon have been consumed by the children of Fenrir, Skull and Martyr, I want to say is the other one. I always forget the other one's name. But wolves have ate the sun and the moon. That's the important part. So, with that, you guys have traveled away from your hometown Haugar, which has been destroyed. What I'd like to do is something I'm taking from Dungeon World. I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions real quick so that you can add to the story as well. We'll start with, let's say, Jeremy. Jeremy, how was the city destroyed?
During Ragnarok?
Yeah.
Band of what is it? A band of dwarves decided to attack in the confusion, and everybody was off guard.
Okay.
We fought them off, but the destruction to the city was just way more than we expected.
Okay, so that's what's kind of forced you to go on the road now.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, for Matt, runic casters have always been more diviners. They've never really had active powers, things that they could cast and really see tangibly. Until Ragnarök really started, the link between Asgard and the mortal realm suddenly kind of bridged that gap, and now casters like you are able to channel things like arcane blasts and create spells that will affect your environment and things like that. What was your character's initial realization that he had this power, or sorry, she had this power?
The Isle, an old woman living on in a coastal hut, usually not keeping too much in touch with the city, but leaned on for her advice, especially heroes and kings. They would come seeking aid. However, like you said, the Galder has never really been anything beyond divination and fate reading. The moment she realized that it was something more, a raven appeared dead on her doorstep. She reached down and she grabbed it, and when she touched the raven's neck that was bleeding out, she was transported instantly to another place. to another realm. And then when she opened her eyes again, time had passed and Ragnarok had begun. And the house that she had lived in was a rubble behind her.
Okay. And for our blacksmith friend here, what caused you to ultimately put down your forge hammer and decide to take up martial practice? Most forge masters do practice weapons, but you've decided to live out your life like that and kind of abandon the forge.
Former blacksmith. He was trained to be a blacksmith as a child, and he ended up becoming a tanner instead. A tanner and a trader merchant. I rolled randomly for the background, by the way. I didn't choose blacksmith. But he was. What has caused him to leave the merchant and take up the... he used to be a hunter as well, because they would stalk elk, and they would also stalk great beasts to take them down in order to trade for their fur. With the shortage coming after Ragnarok, he saw people starving his hometown, people being without the things that they needed most. And so for him, taking up weapons is a matter of necessity. He's out and about to find new game and to find new sources of the amenities that his people are going to need.
Okay, excellent. So, just as kind of a quick rundown for these players, because these guys are all new, basically anything you want to roll in Fantasy Age is going to be 3d6 plus a modifier that's appropriate to the skill. And then if you have a focus, which is written underneath your stat, like let's say stamina or swimming, which happens to be human ones since you're all human, you would get a +2 to that roll, and that would be against a target number. If you're attacking somebody, it's also against their target number, which is actually more known as their defense. Okay. And I need to pull up one more thing on my end here. Here we go. So you have been traveling for some time now. The weather has been quite harsh. With the sun gone, you've pretty much had to burn torches constantly. The wolves and bandits have taken to the roads, and it's been quite a long journey. But your last run-in was with another group of travelers, some merchants that were trying to take advantage of Ragnarok to create high-pressure sales and things like that. Their general thought was as if they were going to have to live through Ragnarok, they might as well live through it rich, which may have left a bad taste in your mouth dealing with them. But one of them, Athun, gave you information about another village that was not too far away called Skeio. The village itself has remained relatively untouched, but they had left Skeio because they heard that there were death cults in the area that were coming. You know that there have been more and more natural disasters, and Skeio is kind of close to a coastline on a sea cliff. Knowing that, you could probably find some shelter there, but it's not going to be a permanent place that you can stay due to the earthquakes and sea quakes and waves and things like that that have been becoming more prevalent. Out of the a very dry and strong hurricane, you guys, or sorry, not hurricane, blizzard, you guys have made it to just outside of Skeio. You can finally make it out through the storm. There's a bunch of torches that are aligning this small village, and it's almost like a sigh of relief at seeing it there. What do you guys do?
One, he gets some of the flurries out of his thick red beard, and he shakes him. Bulba, why'd you lead us in this direction? Hacking up some bile and phlegm kind of pours out to the side of the tree trunk he's leaning up against. I've not encountered such cold winds in time since I went north toward the sea land.
The old mage is chattering teeth, shivering. Her frail bones are not quite used to this kind of weather anymore, much less the extreme that it's gotten to. And you can see her veins through her skin, as she is a pale ghost. And she looks at you and says, "We need shelter. We all do." And the women around her nod.
Yeah, you have a couple of travelers that have come with you seeking shelter as well. Some of the residents of Haugar that did make it out alive.
It looks very
What I'd like from you guys is a perception check.
Perception. So that would be 16.
Okay.
I got 13 plus stunt.
Okay.
I just have a 6.
So for the stunt, let me pull that up real quick here. This would be a RP stunt if you've got that chart in front of you.
I do. Okay. I don't know if any of these are relevant, but
Okay, let me take a look real quick here.
most of them have to do with.
Or sorry, it's an exploration stunt, not an RP one.
Okay. That makes me wonder.
That makes me wonder. Okay. Let's see. You immediately make a perception test at no additional cost in time or resources and discover information surrounding your object of your test. Okay. So let me give you what you got before the stunt. That way you can decide what you want to perceive next.
Okay, cool.
What you have noticed is there is a cart a little further down the road that is on fire. That looks like it was exiting the city. There are some people around it that it's a little hard to make out inside the weather. That makes me wonder, some of the options that I would say is looking for markings on the cart, shields or crests, that sort of thing, markings on the people around the cart, or trying to get a better look so that you can see exactly what's going on with those people around the cart.
I would go with option number 3.
Okay.
So I roll another perception.
Yep.
Okay. So that's 3 dice. So 11.
Okay. So with an 11, you can see that the people around the cart, they are kind of circling. There are 2 groups of people. There's a woman that is on the ground, and she has a staff not too far away from her. There is a man who has a what looks to be some sort of crude bludgeoning device inside his hand and a shield. And he's standing between the men that are surrounding the cart, who are wearing these robes that they have some sort of marking on the back, but you can't quite make it out from where you are. The men inside the robes, however, seem to be fighting with their hands. They don't seem to be wielding any sort of tools.
Okay. So from what I can tell, these cloaked, whoever they are attacking this group.
That's what it looks like. They don't have like a stance like a human would hold. They're almost like a predatory creature the way they're standing.
A bad omen. I pass this information on to the others, and yeah, I gesture my staff towards them, and I say, perhaps if we help them, they will help us. We don't know anything about the area. This might be an opportunity. If any are able. I know I'm tired.
You hear from the Haugar citizens behind you some whispering. Most of the people that you brought with you are women and children. However, you do have some warriors amongst you, and the warriors are kind of nodding in agreement. There's a few shield maidens that discuss with your other warriors that that the women and children should stay back and that they'll make sure that they're protected.
Shh. Ambush would be best.
That I agree with.
It's about time you speak. You've been silent this entire trip. Contemplating the end of the world.
Always. I do not like where things have gone. I've been thinking what's best to do. If we're going to ambush, we should take the initiative now. They look distracted.
The cart is roughly about 50 yards away.
I turn to Bulba. His red beard shines even more now that all the snow's kind of gotten out of it. It's thick, pure, like it's been soaked in blood several times. Look. Bulba. These things are not in my expertise. Keep an eye on the girl. I do not think she is to be trusted either. I trust no one. I will proceed to sneak forward
Okay.
to stab with a short sword. Because he's not going ranged quite yet. Because it seems like we have an onslaught of troops, but the troops are... I don't think they have bows with them, do they?
They do. They have some short hunting bows. Because you suggested an ambush, what your warriors are going to do is set up behind an embankment and do a volley.
Okay. So then I shouldn't go up close then. So what I'll do then is prepare a short bow and actually go catty corner to the side to get a better angle and see if I can perceive exactly what's going on with their hands and what's happening with the scroll.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you
So,
want me to make a stealth, whatever?
yeah, we're going to do a... it's going to be dexterity stealth, if I remember right. Yeah, dexterity stealth.
Alright. So... So that's... stealth is an exploration stunt, correct?
Yes, this could be used as exploration stunt.
So that's-
If you launch into combat stunts would also be acceptable.
So it's 21 plus 6 stunt points. So...
Jeez.
You crushed it. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Man, now I'm tempted with combat stunt points. But no, it's...
Like an acceptable one would be you could do a setup, which will give a +2 to the next ability check for an ally, without necessarily giving away your position.
Where's setup?
That's a combat stunt.
Probably...
So you could also skirmish and get a lot closer because it is
Yeah,
50 yards away.
50 yards. Alright. I will do setup. And I need to pick an ally, so I'm going to choose our warrior friend over here.
Okay.
I'm Rolf.
Rolf.
So-
I choose Rolf.
So you send Rolf some hand signals that you guys have worked out inside the past.
This is a caribou. This is a caribou dying.
All right.
Roughly translates to let's do a pincer maneuver.
All right. I will set myself up for that. I will also sneak in, so I don't, so I can set myself up, so I can, because I know it's pretty far away.
Mm-hmm.
I will, I'll roll stealth for that also.
Can I make stay aware twice? I think I can.
Yeah, you can pick any option you want as many times as you want.
You have 6 points. You can do as much as you want with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I can just do that 3 times and get a +3 bonus for each test, I guess.
Yes.
Perception above. Okay, that's 9, that's 10, that's 11, so that's 1. That's 2, that's also... And I failed my second, so that would be a +2 to my next roll. So I'm like super aware, I'm just taking note of every single position.
You succeeded 2 of them, though, right?
Correct.
Okay. You're going to notice that the back of the cloaks of these men have a symbol of a wolf's head that has been related to Fenrir death cults. You're also close enough now to be able to tell that these men are fighting with these they're spiked gauntlets essentially, but instead of having spikes on the knuckles like normal, they're just like finger claws.
And I would say that the vulva would be moving closer, just like not running, just at her speed, 11 yards closer, and and in doing so, she'll kind of be like her cloak will be up, and she'll be hunching forward a little bit lower to the ground as the blizzard kind of overtakes her, hopefully, and she walks with all the creakiness of an old woman in a storm, and that is her intention to appear that way as well.
Okay. So.
And I would say if they're doing a pincer, I'd be driving in the center.
Okay. So you see that that these men in cloaks launch another attack. The woman that's been knocked down, you can see her scramble towards her staff, and she swings it back around, and you see that this arc of flame just surrounds her inside kind of like this semicircle, like a crescent moon style. And she burns the hell out of a couple bandits that have tried to swoop in on her. The man that seems to be defending the cart, he's taken this. Now that you're closer, you can see it's a piece of wood that somebody would use to create a lever system to lift up a cart to switch out the wheel if it broke. So he's basically just got a huge board that he's swinging at people. And he knocks on one of the bandits, but 2 of them knock him back, destroying his shield, and the other one landing a solid blow to his shoulder.
Give the hand signal.
Okay.
All right.
You guys would have been close enough to now actually launch into the attack. I'm not going to make you move by your movement speed all the way up there.
I'm actually going to start off with a charge in.
Okay.
This is where I'm going to use the bonus he gave me setup.
Okay.
And
when you charge, you get a bonus to your attack roll of 1.
yes, I do. So my goal is, you said there's just a couple bandits, and I'm.
Yeah, there's 6 bandits right now.
Yep. Let's see, of the 2 people they're getting knocked around, there's the woman and the big guy. Which one's on my side?
The woman's probably closest to you.
All right. I will take down anybody who's trying to flank. I'm going to charge at whichever bandit's trying to flank her, so she doesn't have to worry about them. Goal, of course, trying to show her that I'm here to help, not just fight whoever's there.
Right.
Well, that's gonna hurt. So that's 16 with stunt. No, 17 with stunt.
Okay.
That's one. and it's combat stunts. Jeez, I have 6 combat. I have 6 points. So I'm gonna come in, of course, with I'm gonna do setup for my rogue friend here.
Okay.
I'm going to, let's see, was it Mighty Blow?
To do an extra d6. Okay.
Yep.
So that's 5 points now.
That's 4 points. I have two-handed
Oh,
at
yeah, you have.
two-handed at journeyman, so that
Yep.
reduces Mighty Blow down to 1. And I'm gonna taunt at just any of the random guys I'm not attacking.
Okay. So, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what this is narratively now that we've kind of established what the mechanics are. So you're charging in.
Yep.
And you take your swing at that guy. What was the total number?
8. That's 18 damage.
Okay. So you just bellow into this first guy, and what weapon are you using?
I'm using a two-handed great axe.
Okay. So you come in with kind of this sideways swing, and the axe blade just buries into his stomach, and he slumps to the ground in front of you, like just completely thrown by your axe blow. There's another one that sees this, and instead of running in fear, which would be the standard reaction to the colossal amounts of death that you just rained on this guy, he decides that he's going to become infuriated at you, and he's probably going to try and come after you.
Mm-hmm.
Which he needs to make a communication deception check, or you make a communication deception check versus his self-discipline.
It needs to be the 2 non-stunt die to match up, right?
No, any 2 dice, but your stunt die is the different colored one.
Yep.
So that will tell you how many stunt points you have.
Then I have 13 plus 6 stunt die, 6 points in stunt.
Okay.
Is this
This is a following thing, so it's not going to provide any stunts.
Yeah, just letting you know it happened.
Mm-hmm. You will succeed. He got a 12. So on his turn, which I'm going to say he's going to follow you here, he's going to swing at you. Does an 8 hit your defense?
No.
Okay. His claws, you feel them kind of rake across your armor, but it just doesn't sink in.
Laughing at him.
Okay. The second bandit that's there will miss you entirely. And the next one will attack that guy, swing at him. But as he starts to swing, that's when Chepe's going to get his turn.
Okay, so one is actually swinging for one of the people at the cart right now, correct?
The man that's defending with a board now, and he just has shield broke.
At this point, as he's getting ready to pull back his short bow, as he's hunching over like a dwarf in the mountains, he pushes his beard up to his nose. He sniffs in the incense and the blood that he's dripped his beard in. Memories come back to him of the hunt, of dousing himself in hallucinogenics and killing caribou and greater wolves with his bare hands. He remembers the times when he skinned their furs and brought them back, just before he became a merchant, back to the time of being a hunter, being alive again. He says a prayer, Skeio, wife of Nodir, father of Freyr and Freyr, strengthen my bow, make it true. Unleashes an arrow.
Okay.
Okay. So that's going to be 22.
All right.
And
Did
four
you want to
stun.
go for the guy that's attacking the guy defending?
Yes.
Okay. So your arrow lands true right into the back of this bandit. How much damage?
How much damage? I'm using my my pinpoint attack,
Right.
and that's going to be 7, 12.
12. Okay, perfect. Right before he could even land his swing, your arrow is enough to kill him. So he just kind of like hits the man that's defending the cart, who shoulders the body off of him, and he realizes that someone's firing arrows into the group. The man kind of starts to take a step back towards the cart, and he will see Rolf standing there fighting other bandits. And you can see that he's kind of assessing the situation to see what's going on. He takes one more clear swing with this board that he's now using with two hands at another bandit and smacks him real good. That guy slumps over dead.
Okay. I'll use 1 stunt point for a reload. That's reload. So he quickly
Okay.
grabs another arrow. At this point, the blood and incense and hallucinogens are starting to like pour through his system, and his adrenaline's going, so you can hear his heart start increasing. The second one I would like to do is, I guess, take up a defensive stance. So he will kneel down even more after taking that arrow and trying to blend in more into the embankment of the snow, getting ready to signal everyone else to launch the volley if need be.
Okay. Next is going to be Islay.
So you're saying for the purpose of narrative, we all would have arrived within range of engagement? Okay, cool. So the the slumbering, or sorry, not the slumbering, the kind of slumping cloth that is Islay's form as she is loaded with snow approaching abruptly stands up into a shockingly tall woman, like Brienne of Tarth tall, as the wind blows the hood off her cloak and she starts casting a spell. So I'm going to, from about a 11-yard distance, I'm going to be casting a spell with a target number of 13. So
Okay.
that'll be 3d6 plus intelligence. So which one? So I'm gonna roll on dice stream. Can the third one be the stunt dice? I guess.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay, cool.
Normally, when you're at a table, you'll choose like a different color.
Right. So I got. I just gotta look at my character sheet. My intelligence is 1, so I just got 13.
Perfect. So you'll
Yep.
cast.
You
And
also have stunt dice.
I also
Yep.
have stunt dice, and the stunt dice is 6.
And that's going to be off of the spell stunts.
Okay. So I will look at that, and I was casting Puppets of Fate.
Okay.
So standard spell stunts. Okay, so I'm gonna use the magic shield
Okay.
aspect, and what that's gonna do is give me a +2 bonus to defense until the beginning of my next turn. So you see this shimmering field kind of of energy start to radiate around her skin, and she plants her staff into the ground and starts repeating a Galdr over and over again. Hey Rai, hey Rai, hey Rai, and the Puppets of Fate spell comes into effect, and a searing rune actually appears on the inside of her arm, a permanent brand of the magic she cast. And basically, that means that I can manipulate fate to the discomfort of my enemies. For the remainder of the encounter, I can force enemies within 12 yards of me to reroll successful ability tests and take the worst results, and I can do that a number of times equal to the stun die, so 6 times.
Perfect. Okay. So next is going to be 2 bandits that have seen you now that you're actually closer and you've cast. They're going to turn on the cart that they've been trying to attack, and they're going to come after you because, kill the caster first. Let's see. That is going to be a 6 to try and hit you, so that's going to definitely miss. And the second is 13 for your defense.
I'm going to ask that to be a reroll.
Okay. Keep in mind your defense got a boost of 2 as well.
Oh, so I don't need to do that at all.
I think so, if I remember your defense number right now.
I did. So it's 14 total is my defense.
Okay. Yeah, so this guy, he would have gotten closer except for, like, almost through magical reflex, that shimmering energy that shielded you comes up and just deflects his blow away from you. So next is going to be the last bandit that's on, we're going to call him the card defense guy, because you guys haven't actually met him yet. And his blow will land. The card defense guy is going to spin around and hit the ground. He's down. The woman that was casting earlier, she'll try and do one more flame arc, but she's not doing well. Your mage can actually tell that right now she's probably depleted. She's on kind of her last limb here. This could possibly be her last spell. Next, we're going to go back to Rolf.
All right. So there's some dogs. There's just the 2 near our mage.
You've got 1 near you. There are 2 that are on your mage, and there's 1 that's on Rolf. Or not Rolf. There's 1 that's on the cart guard.
The bodyguard, yeah. All right, then I'll have to take down the 1 near me because I can't allow him to kill her then. Not what I was hoping. All right, so I'm going to see if I try to position myself in between the bandit and the cart mage. And then I'm going to essentially I'm going to try, because I don't know if I can, without the charge, I don't know if I can take him down in 1 hit, and I can't guarantee her safety. So I'm going to try to swing towards his legs, try to knock him down while I hit. Not sure if it will do much, but in the meantime, if I can, I'll I'll put up my hand, give him a hand signal, trying to signal Chappie right there, to essentially go after the 2 attacking. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. Our mage. Islay. Hoping that you'll understand what I'm trying to do.
Out of the many colors he's seeing at this point, he sees like your hand kind of motion in a certain way, and in between visions of the giants behind you and Valkyrie's taking up your soul to Valhalla, he gets the message.
Perfect. I'm going to take my swing.
Okay. Keep in mind, knockdown is a stunt, so you're hoping for stun points here.
I am. I'm going to get it.
Knock prone is 2 unless you have something that modified that.
Not that I know of. But I have 21 to attack with
Oh, yeah.
6 stump points.
You give him like just a crazy mighty blow. You want to describe that thing because that's pretty outrageous of a roll.
So I was trying to go for taking down his legs. Not sure if I did it. So I had turned my axe around because it's not a double axe. It has a pointed end. My goal was to pierce his legs and knock him down. So I had twisted over my axe and essentially trying to golf his legs out of from under him. Of course, not being subtle about it, showing him what I'm doing. So he's just seeing the glee in my eyes, the rage in my eyes, of how fun I believe this is really going to be doing this to him. Because swinging an axe is always fun, but taking away someone's fight from them, showing them that I'm the superior warrior, is the best thing I could ever hope for. So as I swing, I'm using the hook on my end to pull him down. Of course,
Okay.
not realizing my own strength and just crushing him.
Let's see some damage, and you get the knockdown.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna do the knockdown. I'm gonna do mighty blow also, just because I'm gonna add on to the damage, and I'm not really even sure what else I want to do. Knockdown is 2, so that's 3. Pierce armor if he has any armor.
He does.
And I'm piercing armor, and I have 1 more point. I'll stay aware. Apparently, nah, it's not really even a big deal. I know. You know what? No, yeah, I'll stay aware.
Okay. So go ahead and do your damage, and then we'll do the perception check afterward.
Yep. That'll be 18 damage.
Okay. Your spike buries into his calf muscle and just rips it open. You see him bleeding out, and you know that he's only got a few seconds left to live. What you intended to just knock him into the ground is just completely destroyed him. Let's do the perception check next. It's target number of 11.
I had a 12.
What kind of focus did you want to use? Do you want to do it as like sight, smelling, hearing?
Lizard out. Hearing's probably not the best. Smelling.
Okay.
Feeling.
You smell that distinct sweet smell of sweat that is not from these bandits. These bandits have like a wet dog smell to them. It's something different. And you kind of rock your head towards the smell, and you notice that inside the cart there's a child who's like peeking over the cart, like underneath where the tent flap is, and you can hear that there are other children over there. The cart appears to be full of them.
All right. I'll give the children just a wink.
Okay.
Because that won't creep out Bronze Age children at all.
Hey, kiddies.
Showing them that, yeah, I just destroyed this guy's leg, and I look
I
at
just
them.
ripped the calf muscle off this asshole. Let me wink at you. So the children, as soon as you do it, the child that was sticking its head out like ducks back underneath and covers up the flap. The bandits themselves, the two that are left, are going to kind of pick up themselves and try and run away. One of them is hampered, and it has to be like held by the other one. You still have warriors on standby for the volley, if you want to use that.
But the Bulba, correct?
What's that?
Were these the ones that were attacking Bulba? Who my
Yes.
character calls Bulba? Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
It's the two that were attacking the mage. They've realized that they're just too too underprepared for what has happened.
I signal the volley.
Okay. As they start to make it away, the volley will fire, and it'll take care of those last two for you. You find the cart guard. He is unconscious. He is not dead. The woman who is the mage, now that you've gotten a chance to see, Islay, you would know this. This woman was actually a blood mage. She tapped into her own life force to continue casting well past her own limits. She essentially killed herself trying to protect whatever's in this cart.
And I mean, Islay will walk over to her and close her eyes if they're open.
Okay. When you close her eyes, you see that she was actually probably a witch, because now that you've closed them, you see that she's got tattooed a set of eyes above her eyes, below hers, and then when you close her eyelids, she's got another set. So it makes it look like she's got 6.
And I'll just realize that she's beyond my help. Look to the cart and look look for an injured survivor. I know the cart driver was unconscious. I don't know if.
Yeah, he's alive. Now that you're close to the cart, you can hear kind of whispers and another person who's like, "Shush, hush, hush."
And I will tap the cart twice with my staff.
Okay. After a few moments, the cart guard will kind of come around. He's awake, but he's not well. You can tell that the battle pretty much took everything out of him. A young boy will stick his head out, and he's got a 2-foot section of wood in his hand, like he's ready to defend himself. He looks around and he says, "What? Who are you? Where's Ragnar? Geller!" And he jumps out of the cart and runs over to the guard.
And as he's saying this, and as he's running, Islay will just kind of be like laugh a little bit at his graciousness and just say, "It's all right, boy. They're gone."
When he opens the flap to jump out, you're going to see that there's another about a dozen children inside this cart.
Great, one else defeat.
When he gets over to Geller, he checks to see that Geller is okay, and he kind of takes up a defensive stance, like he doesn't really understand what's going on. He seems to be at ease by what you said, but he's still a little defensive. He'll kind of help Geller up, and with his free hand, he's got his stick between you guys and him, and he's just kind of like moving it side by side to each one of you.
And standing kind of at stick's length, the woman will crouch down from her tall stature and say, "I would like to patch your friend up. See, we're looking for shelter, and we saw that you and the others," and she'll look into the cart. "We saw that you were attacked."
The young boy says, let me see your neck. Show me your necks."
And she'll bend over and reveal her neck, but you will see, like, not on her neck but on her shoulder blade,
Mm-hmm.
will be a rune that has been emblazoned there.
Okay. Do the other two of you comply?
I do.
Okay.
But you'll see that there's a claw mark, an old scar of mine on my
Okay.
neck.
He
Hunting accident.
he points the stick over to you, Islay, and he says, "Show me what's on that marking."
I'll lean closer and just say, I doubt you'd understand it, boy. But go on. And
Okay.
she'll lean even closer, kind of at a disadvantage at this point.
He looks at it and he goes, "That's not it. You." And he points over to Cheppy. What did you say your character's name was?
His name is Haugar.
Halvog. He points to Halvog and he says, "You. I need to see your neck."
There's no need for that.
How do I know if you're not a cultist? You'd have the marking. I need to see your neck. And he's going to get more and more defensive. He's going to pull Geller back to the cart. The trust that you guys have managed to build a little bit is starting to wane.
How do we know you're not one?
Because I don't bear the mark, and he'll drop the stick because he doesn't know any better, and he'll pull out his neck and expose that there's no markings or anything on his neck.
As soon as he drops his guard, I hit him on the back of the head, like the end of my bow, just slightly,
Okay.
just kind of knocking him over. Never drop your guard, children.
Rolf gives a good chuckle to that one.
I kick the stick.
He doesn't worry about the stick. He kind of backpedals with Geller back towards the cart.
I signal for everyone else that it's safe to come out.
Okay.
On the back, the shield maidens.
Once the larger group starts showing up, the younger child, who you've learned is Pelak, was trying to see if you had marking on there. Apparently, these cultists have a mark that looks like a wolf's jawline has bitten into their neck. Which, when you check these cultists that are on the ground, they all have it. There's about a dozen children there, and also Geller, the cart guard.
Take a bit of their blood. Does it taste different?
A little bit. It's warm, like far warmer than it should be. It tastes like human blood, but it's in this cold weather. The fact that they've been on the ground that is covered in snow for as long as they have, it shouldn't be this hot.
Great. He takes it upon himself to gather a bit, some for his incense,
Okay.
thinking it might be something that could be potent. You guys have seen this before. Whenever he kills something from time to time, if he finds like particular potent humor, he'll experiment with it, and he'll see what kinds of. He's got his own recipes for drugs that he makes that he nestles into his beard and along his body and lines to try to rev him up in a state that'll allow him to shoot arrows faster, kill things more. Not sure if it's more of an addiction or more of an actual tactic.
A little bit
far,
of A, a little bit of B.
A little bit A, a little bit of B. Well, that's
Okay.
what he's doing now. Looking through the bodies. I turned back. His name was Pelak? Pelak.
Pelak, yeah.
Pelak.
Yes. You'll see that he was talking to the other children inside the cart. There's a couple older ones, but the range of ages inside this cart seem to be around 5 to 15. There are no very young children in here.
I am Halvard Bilvist, among the last survivors of our city.
I'm Pelak.
Pride. Show pride.
I'm Pelak of Skeio. I wouldn't advise going there if that's your plan. These wolves have overtaken the city.
I see. What of the others? Names.
He opens up the flap, and you can see the other children inside there. There's there's a young girl inside there, and she's trying to get one of the other children to be quiet. And instead of doing it in like a soothing manner, she punches him in the jaw.
I like this one.
She kind of nods to you and like flicks her wrist a couple times because you could tell that she put more pressure into it than she was expecting. She says, "I'm Hela. We can't go back to Skeio. The wolves of Fenrir, these cultists, they've said that we're marked. They intend to kill us to appease Fenrir and his wolves."
Bobo, do you know anything of this?
She would. She would. I would like to know what she would know about Fenrir.
So you know that that Fenrir has children that have formed kind of a pact with him, and during Ragnarok, his children have ate the sun and the moon, of course. But Fenrir is believed to have also killed Odin. You know that Odin's son, Balin, I believe is his name, intends to take revenge on Fenrir. Most Vikings now believe that Fenrir is dangerous and uncontrollable. Not to say that he ever really was. Some of the natural disasters and things like that have been accredited to the fact that Fenrir has fallen from the sky and opened his mouth and just ran along the earth eating anything in his path, which is how Odin was consumed.
So, yeah, she'll kind of be like whispering some of these details to herself, just kind of thinking over the matter, and we'll kind of pitch up and say, "How have you been marked?"
Geller is the one who speaks now, and he says, "The children, I don't know what they mean by marked. The wolves of Fenrir came to town, and they swore that they could provide us protection. And for a while they did. They protected us from bandits and things like that. But after a while, their high priest decided that the children needed to be sacrificed to Fenrir, that only the youngest were allowed to survive, and those that were old enough to help the cult grow. So the children between 5 and 16 were marked as impure, and that they would lead to the town's destruction. I couldn't let them kill all these children. Myself and Ragna," and he kind of looks over to the witch that's dead, "we gathered the children at night and tried to smuggle them out of town." It's only then that he says night that you realize that you guys have no conceptual understanding of day, night anymore, because the sun and moon are gone.
Right. She'll look to the others and say, "So if this cult has taken over the city, and that is what has happened, yes?"
Yes, I'm trying to get them to another village. There's one just south of here. It's Skeio's sister city. There's a boat that we can get them out of here. It's a long boat, and it'll be a rough journey on the seas, but it's maybe their only chance. The wolves have spread. I'm calling in all the favors that I can right now to get that.
Well,
If that journey is too dangerous, there's a sisterhood that we can go to of Freya. Their monastery is not too far away. In fact, it's closer than the village, but it's about 2 days out. At least they can protect the children. And the Sisters of Freya have been enemies of the wolves of Fenrir for many years.
I'll look to the others and I'll say, well, surely the others in our group,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll say, surely the entering the city is no longer an option. As you can see, we have many young ourselves. And he looks to the warriors and or she looks to the warriors and cocks an eyebrow and says,
You also see that this cart has a lot of provisions, more provisions that aren't even necessary to go to the city to the south, which that village is Milefell.
"Okay, can I like more provisions?"
Yeah, way more than they would need. Like, it's a 4-day journey. They've got about 10 days worth of provisions.
Interesting.
If you were to help them and say take advantage of their provisions, it would be more than enough for your entire trip, your entire group, to make it to Myofil, the 4-day trip, along with your own provisions.
Yeah, I'll just say, they have plenty of food. They seem to be right of mind. Fearful, yes, but so are we not? The sisterhood, I could parlay for us there. Um, Going all the way to the sister village, so it would be a longer and more dangerous route. However, we would be able to find more protection there, I'm sure. How do you feel, warriors?
Geller speaks up again. He says, "I don't know if the wolves have made it to Myofil, but if they have, then it could be just as dangerous as going back to Skeio. I know that the sisters will provide us protection, but I don't know that they'd be able to house you for very long."
What I want to know is why have they not already sent reinforcements if they've taken over the city, as you said?
The sisters are set in their ways. He says, and you can see that he spits, which is kind of common for whenever Vikings that are non-magical speak of magic. The sisters do not leave their keep. They are exceedingly skilled mages, but they do not have armies to serve them or anything that could help with seizing back the city of Skeio.
So we are expecting more dispatches to be heading toward your direction as we speak.
The wolves are growing with every day. People fear Fenrir's wrath and believe that if enough sacrifices would be done, that perhaps he would stop devouring the land. I have no such faith.
Yes, it seems like the wolf will eat until all the food is gone. There is no sating its appetite.
Killer starts coughing, and you can see that he's coughing blood. The healing that you gave him is it's mended his wounds, but he's gone through so much trauma that it's going to be touch and go if he even survives this.
When I see him cough up blood, can I lean forward and lay an attempt on magical healing?
You could. It's going to be the same thing. He's so far gone as far as damage is concerned
Okay.
that it's going to be touch and go if he even survives. So
Okay.
you may want to save your points.
Okay. Well, she'll
You know, as a diviner, that certain deaths are just inevitable.
Yep. My gut tells me that from the sisterhood, we could make a stand. We could generate. We can rest and collect ourselves and generate a plan to take back one of the cities if they are both taken.
The warriors that are with you all kind of nod their heads.
At the very minimum, heading towards the sisterhood, we could leave the women and children in relative safety.
Indeed.
We wouldn't have to worry while we could make the offense ourselves.
Then is it decided? Men, women? She'll look around.
The NPCs that are with you from Haugar all seem to agree. You can hear the children whispering things like, "I don't want to go to the sisters." The one that you've been introduced to as Pelak tells them, "Quiet. It's probably our best bet." And he's telling them to quit being superstitious and things like that. Hela is doing the same thing, but again, she's doing it through bullying tactics rather than reassuring tactics like Pelak is doing.
Don't be a pussy.
Yep.
All right. I guess after everyone's kind of nodded in agreement, as a sidebar, the mage would walk beside the red-bearded warrior and look at him sideways and say, "Are you with us?"
Like to gather supplies first. Please, I would like to take a dispatch of men to at least move along the coastline. I'd like to see if what they say is true, but more importantly, it's anything like Hersvik. The town where the storms that have been brewing have been washing things over the cliffs. Maybe I could find seal meat. Something more guaranteed than the provisions of strangers.
Geller speaks up and he says, I'm willing to share our provisions. We have more than enough."
What would you trade for these provisions?
You would be doing us a favor. Bringing these children to either place could save their lives. And he starts coughing again. He's real close to death at this point. Please just take the children somewhere safe. So long as they arrive safe, you can have whatever's left. The cart, the provisions, anything you want. And he'll start heaving really rough this time until finally it softens and you can see his eyes have glazed over. He's done. Pelak will notice it, and before the other children really start to notice that Geller has died, he'll close Geller's eyes and kind of lay him flat on the ground, taking the board that he used as a weapon and putting it across him.
The mage will put a hand on his head, kind of gently, scruffling his hair.
Pelak looks to all of you and he says, You don't have to worry about us. I can take care of us." And you know he can't. He's not trained. Even though he's 15, he was probably a farmhand before even making his way out of the village. He seems to have some skill, it looks like, with possibly a short sword, but not enough to be able to protect these children.
Like, I just want to know one thing.
Yes.
How did they sneak you out of the city?
Well, Geller provided some magics Ragnar provided some magics, and from what I understand, Geller paid off some of the cultists to take a detour on their rounds of going through the city.
So what you're saying is some of them are aware. If we head anywhere, it will need to be Sisterhood. It's going to be closer. We may not have much time.
Like a sudden realization comes across Pillock's eyes as he realizes that the cultists are aware that they left then.
And here I was looking forward to seal hunting.
So you guys heading to the Sisterhood then?
Yeah, I'll turn over to Olba. I'm with you.
And she'll nod and say, "Good. Let us go then."
Okay. So the Sisterhood is 2 days worth of travel. During your first day, it's actually a peaceful day of travel, other than terrible weather conditions, which you've all grown accustomed to. The children kind of are a handful, is the best way to put it. They each have their own personality that has charmed each one of you, but the one that really stands out is Hella, who has actually taken a shine to Haugar. You can tell that she already has some basic understanding of roguely-like skills. She's a relatively good hunter. With her help, you were able to hunt down a couple deer along the way during that day that didn't actually detract from the journey there. She seems to have some skill with a bow. The bow that she has is kind of a ratty bow that apparently used to belong to Geller, though she doesn't have much for arrows. When you are skinning the deer and kind of away from everyone else, she starts talking to you and she says, "Please don't make me go with the sisters. It'll be just as bad as an orphanage. No one will come for us. I won't have a chance at anything. Let me come with you."
Why is that?
I need a chance to do something. Pellock gave up on his dream. He wanted to be a soldier, but since Ragnarök started, he believes that all he can do is just make sure that these other children can survive. I don't want to survive. I want to thrive. Even though the sun and the moon are gone, I'm still a Viking.
Help me skin these deer, and I'll think about it.
She very excitedly starts skinning the deer, trying to make sure that she doesn't make any mistakes. She's really trying to impress you at any chance that she gets a moment to.
And he starts taking out the entrails, and he's looking for the most potent odors possible at this point, and he's looking at like very pungent humors, and you notice that he also grabs certain hallucinogenic herbs along the way.
You find that the liver is still intact, and you're like, oh, the mother lode of pungent, terrible odors to come out of a deer carcass. That's it right there.
Perfect. The meat's still roughly intact, too. That's nice.
Or sorry, not the liver, the pancreas. Pancreas is what smells terrible when you cut it. Pancreas. Okay. The second day, you guys are traveling along. Man, you got lucky on this dice chart. What the hell? Another uneventful day. You make it to the Sisterhood, and it's actually a pretty large keep. The sisters that are there, you can see them, which they are kind of more your traditional casters. It's a sect of all women. Isla, you've been familiar with them, though this is the first time you've actually met the sisters. Once you arrive, you'll notice that they have that same tattoo marking of 6 eyes as Ragna had, which is probably why she intended to take the children there. A woman comes to the front to greet you guys at the gate, and she says, "Greetings. I'm Fastiv Kelita Orter." Killadotter. There we go. Viking names. Yay. What brings you to this keep?
At this point, he's standing back, just waiting for the magician to speak. He doesn't deal with magic.
So she would take a rodent that she had captured in their travels.
Mm-hmm.
She would present it and quickly cut its throat.
Okay. Festive kind of watches curiously as you do this.
And and she'll set it down on the ground softly and look at her and say, "Now that the gods are with us, I will." And she'll proceed to tell her about their journey, and she would hold back some of their vulnerability as a group in detail, but she would proceed to tell her about the fact that most of these people were from the neighboring city, and they were attacked by the cult of Fenrir. And I will say the wolf is getting bold.
She Festive asks all of you to expose your neck, knowing that she's looking for the markings.
Yep.
Do
so.
Once she kind of looks over your group and it doesn't look like anybody has those markings, she nods and she says, "The wolves are not friends of ours. Lower the bridge." And as she says that, the bridge will start coming down, and you'll see that there are two women carrying staffs, same markings across their face. They'll welcome you in. When you told them the story, did you tell them about Ragna, the other sister that you found in the cart with the cart?
I did, and I would describe it as, and I closed her. I closed her last eyes.
Okay. Festive will nod and say, "She did what is right. Freya would be proud of her actions protecting these children. Come inside. We can provide shelter and food for at least a few days. We're not prepared for this many new bodies. There's good hunting in the area. Those of you with skill, I would like for you to aid us in replenishing our stocks while you're here." The NPC warriors that are with you all kind of nod. They'll take you into the keep and they'll welcome you in. Once you start talking to the sisters begin telling you a little bit more about the wolves of Fenrir, and that they're a bold death cult, and that they've been taking the children of different villages, and they've known for some time that they'd be heading towards Skeio, but they didn't expect it this soon. They'll kind of contemplate going to attack the village, and they'll have a map of the area, which is good because you guys haven't seen a map in a long time, showing Skeio and what was the other one? Myofell. Myofell looks like it's further south, and from the markings that they have, it looks like Myofell may have had even more cultists in it. Festive will, or Festive, I don't know why I keep saying Festive. Festive will say, "Thank you for bringing the children with us. It appears that a few of them seem to have some magical acumen as well. Perhaps we could guide them. The others, they can provide assistance around the keep. We have been lacking stewards for some time."
I mean, with her life as a Seeger on the outside of their home village, she would have been practicing the same sort of lifestyle. She had followers, she had stewards, so she would nod and understand this logically completely.
Yeah.
And
even as a hermit, the village, Haugar would have provided you a child to tend to your extra needs and things like that.
yeah, exactly. So I would nod as if that makes perfect sense with what to do with the children. Though I'm sure some of them would not be down.
Yeah, a lot of the children don't seem very pleased about the whole thing. And then before you guys settle out to leave the game today, you will have one last interaction with Hala, who will go back over to Halvig, and she'll say, "You're not going to leave me here, right?"
Hey, sister.
Fostvi will see you, and she nods to you. Yes.
You'll need the steward for Boba, and he'll look over. He'll just give a brief glance, but he never keeps eye contact for very long with any of the women. Permit this one to stay. I can make use.
Hela kind of starts to smile, but she composes herself because she doesn't want to give away anything or cause Fastvi to keep her. Fastvi kind of considers it, and she says, "We can make that so. We'll make sure and provide you some extra rations for your new steward, Isla."
Awesome.
Okay. That is what I have prepared for you guys in case you are interested in what this was. There is a thing that Fantasy Age put out called Fantasy Age Encounters. This one, the actual name is called Children's Crusade. You guys got stupid lucky on the adventure charts and ran into nothing, so that was kind of a letdown. But good for timing, because you guys need to head out of here pretty much right about now, huh?
I do. However, I enjoyed it, and if the same people were ever down to continue this little thing, I would at another time.
Yeah, absolutely. I plan on doing probably another Fantasy Age a little bit higher. That way we can play with specialties and stuff like that too. Because I know Chepe was interested in that.
Could we do a Where Are They Now game?
We'll just skip a little bit ahead of time, same characters, just see what it's like. Hela's now like 15.
She's now in breeding age. Everything.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Yes.
We could definitely do something like that. I'll figure out another time that works for me. My schedule's a little hectic, and I know, Matt, your schedule's a little hectic too, so we'll get around to it eventually, probably.
I didn't even get to go into all the Scotty stuff. Like, that was just the tip of the iceberg. I had poetry and stuff for him to say whenever he's firing his arrows. Crazy berserker arrow bullshit. I hope you
so
guys.
That means we really do need a second adventure.
I found that to be so amazing. Just like every time you use your arrow, you just get into these long poems. I thought that was great.
Skadi is the goddess of skiing and hunting, because she would like ski down the mountains and kill people with fucking arrows. She's the best goddess ever. So
all right.
This is who he follows.
With that, I am going to go ahead and finish up the phone call here. You guys are on my channel, Drop Dice, for which I thank you guys, but also check out Chetface's channel, which is Fon Trodden. He's got random stuff on there, I think is the best way to describe his channel.
There used to be some consistency, but there's been a lot of life stuff that has gotten in the way, so a lot of random stuff at this point.
So with that, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share buttons. As always, we'll see you at the gaming table.